We're here for amalgamation, I suppose, of whiskey, food.
Wow, look, they're cooked.
Barley, lamb.
Hopefully to learn a little bit where whiskey comes from.
Yeah. Right, we're good to go.
Now we're good to go.
Do you want to lock that door?
I bet I had.
Dogs are getting clever now, they can open the door themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe
Now we're
bolt or
good to
two
go.
as well, just in case.
So this is our organic growers.
This is where it all began.
Yeah.
My brother actually was one of the very first.
Yeah, 2015.
This went into winter oats first, and then it went into spring barley for 2 years, and then it's gone back into a red clover mix.
Okay, and so why do you have a rotation?
One is fertility. The red clover now is going to produce a lot of nitrogen for the next barley or oat crop. It also helps with weed control as well, and it just gives the ground a break as well from ploughing.
You have tillage weeds and you have grass weeds, and if you keep swapping every few years from tillage to grass, you get rid of them in the process. So.
Yeah. But at the same time, I guess the diversity of tillage weeds are helpful to the biodiversity of the soil itself as well.
Absolutely. Look, every plant has a purpose. And a lot of the plants, even though we call them weeds, they do have a purpose. They can be deep rooting, which will help soil structure. They can bring up minerals from subsoils. People say, oh, docks, we want rid of them, we hate the sight of them, but they have a massive taproot, really deep rooting, which really help break up the soil, help the biology, help the structure, help water infiltration. So they do serve a purpose as well.
Why did you make that conversion in the first place?
You look at profitability, and you do look at the environment as well to try and keep the soil, good for the next generation as well. And look, it's a nicer way of producing crops and your meat as well. You know where it comes from. You don't have to put any sprays or pesticides on the land.
It's better for your health as well. Our health.
It's better for the
that's
health
really important.
and
Often not thought about.
Yeah, the kids as well, and you can see all the biodiversity now across the farm. It's definitely increased since we've gone organic.
It's an oversimplification, but at the end of the day, you've kind of got conventional agriculture and organic agriculture, haven't you? And one's like homogenous and industrial, and the other is diverse and kind of like really supporting that diversity, like you said, from the soil up, and the difference that makes to everything from the people growing it to the people eating it is massive, isn't it? Or drinking it in this case.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, the broader the diversity of plants, the better the soil bacteria is.
Yeah, the more diverse the soil bacteria becomes, and the funguses become, and it's all linked underground, they're all linked together through the plant's root structure.
It's fascinating learning about these things as a chef, because and to learn how it affects the taste of your food and your drink, depending on what you're
we're
consuming.
still learning, it's all very, very new to a lot of us.
So what variety was this?
This was Prospect.
Prospect, yeah.
Everything we have here is Prospect.
Prospect.
And so will this grain be in the whiskey that you make? Yeah,
it's in the shed ready to go, so we're just ready to cut another 20 acres and put it with that, and then get the lorries.
Yeah, Dalton's will come and collect it.
That's right.
And it'll go to the cathedral, which we'll see.
Okay, so we'll probably just go up the field a little bit and we'll dig a little hole and we'll have a look, see what we can see.
Okay, great.
Very dry, so we might not get to see a whole lot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and you can see there's quite a clean crop. Very few weeds coming up yet at all, so it was a lovely crop to harvest. Just sit back, relax, and up and down the field.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, there we go.
It's completely different.
There's our little friend, the earthworm. So the more of those we see, the better. Sign of a good, healthy soil. So if we tease out the roots, you can just see all the roots are having a great impact on structure in the soil to keep it that nice and loose.
Yeah.
So our plan now is to go bale this, till it up and put a cover crop in straight away just to keep that, because if we don't, what will happen is all the roots will die. Bit of rain will come, it might cap off the soil, and just you want a nice aerated soil. So we want to keep the soil aerated for all the biology in the soil. So that's why it's important to keep the root structure in it.
So how would you describe that soil?
That would be a clay loam soil. So equal parts sand, silt and clay really. Probably a little bit more clay than it really can dry out. Now this is your clover root.
And
And if you just look at the, let's put my hand there, you see all the little white balls on the roots?
Yeah.
That's what actually fixes the nitrogen. Okay. They're the nodules that fix the nitrogen. And that's what we're looking for, because that's going to put nitrogen in the ground for the next crop.
So I think what's probably important to realise is that normally in conventional farming, nitrogen would just be added as a synthetic fertiliser,
Exactly.
which has all sorts of issues.
Yes.
Just, yeah, not least for the flavour, but the soil structure and the
yeah.
issues with pollutants. And
Exactly, and I think the more fertilisers you put on, the less the roots are going to work. So those roots are going to only stay in the top couple of inches. Whereas if you're not putting fertiliser on, you're looking for plants that'll go deeper rooting. And we, of course, will pull up the nutrients from there, but definitely we don't rely on any kind of synthetic chemical.
So if I was to put a bit of water on this and roll it up, you'd see if it's sticky or not as well. All right. You can see that's kind of.
I want to go. Can I have it?
It is still a bit sticky.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So if it's sticky, it's a kind of more clay. More clay
based. Yeah. More clay based.
Okay. So a clay loam soil like this, what flavours might we find?
It depends, I suppose. What kind of would this be? A sea field or?
I think it's Elton.
I think it's Elton.
Elton, is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
Elton was your favourite?
Yeah, so Elton is one of my favourites. Then Elton John now.
No.
I do like Tiny Dancer as a sample. Yeah.
Okay, so a soil series is a soil type.
Yeah.
And Elton is one of the soil types, which is basically indicative of this field, which will give you what flavours?
Kind of a barnyardy, farmyard, spicy clove.
A little bit of pepper. Yeah, I've noticed that in the whiskey myself.
So so you get some would have white pepper kind of on the front of your tongue.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of associated maybe with the Elton, but also with the American casks as well. Like.
When we're talking about terroir, though, we're not just talking about the soil, are we? We're talking about the environment,
Topography.
the topography.
Climate obviously has a huge impact. Like we could be here and, they could be surrounded by trees, and obviously that'll affect frost and sunlight and the whole lot. Depends on where the sun is rising and setting. Like, not too many fields in Ireland that are completely flat. You'll have a basin in the fields, and that'll hold the water as well. So it's not just the soil, it's the topography and the climate.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about the climate.
Yeah, so a hot year like this is going to produce a different tasting whiskey, I presume.
Yeah, it will. I suppose barley as a plant loves daylight. So, we're in the middle of summer. It's bright at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock. It gets dark at about 10 o'clock, so you could have 14 or 15 hours of daylight. So barley as a plant loves daylight. If you were growing barley in Australia, you get a lot of sun, but you don't get the length of day. Like.
Yes. Tram lines. Just don't stand on the crop, anyone.
We're reducing the yield now.
So again, just get a grain
Yeah.
and just bite the grain. It's reasonably difficult to bite that grain. That just shows you that it's ripe, and judging by how difficult it is to bite that, I reckon it is somewhere between 15 and 16% moisture.
Okay. Perfect.
So time to get the combine.
Yeah.
I drink to that.
Yeah.
How many more times can we say I drink to that?
It's been dropped.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll keep going, keep going.
Up to the crest.
You have to work for this. Oh, my legs are going to be ruined.
So what we have here is one of the crops that was grown as a forage crop last winter. So this was used to feed the sheep last winter, and it's ploughed down, but it's come back up. So you can see all the little seeds. It's a brassica.
Lots of good seeds there.
Yeah.
The annual bastard cabbage.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're all the same
or
family.
wild rape.
Yeah, they're all the same family.
yeah.
As you were saying, Tom, earlier on, like some farmers actually they would go out and they pick like the docks there that you can see in the background, but we don't. Like, once you have a good rotation in, we just find that works too. And my belief as well that like all these seeds are in the ground anyway, and it's trying to get a good seed bed ready for the barley and get the barley in at the right time, and it'll outcompete most of the weeds.
Wild oats is something that people would very much traditionally go out and pick, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's a bit strange, like this field when I was in conventional and even the other fields, where I actually had quite a lot of wild oats when I was in conventional, and I was spraying it for wild oats every year. And I put it into organic, and now I've never had as few wild oats. It's a bit strange. I don't understand what was driving it or why it's changed.
In permaculture principles, I've heard it say that kind of nature grows what it needs to grow to replace the lost nutrients in the soil. So maybe when the soil was less nutritious, it was like it needed whatever the wild oats were bringing to it.
Yeah, it's quite possible, yeah.
I just remember back in the early days, maybe one of our early dates, you brought me picking wild oats.
So that's how you do it.
Down in the quarry field, I'll never forget.
So this is the organic, so it's the second year's barley and the first bottling from this. So natural whiskey, 50%, non-chill filtered. And the first thing I'd always do is that when I pour it, is I'd look at the oils and the legs, and the kind of legs I'd be looking for is like myself, slow and thick. And that's kind of an indication of how it'll coat your throat. It has that kind of rolled oats nearly, rolled barley nose to it.
I think it's got quite vanilla.
Okay, so we've looked at the legs and we've smelt it.
Smell it. Now the other thing is, no, hang on now. The other thing.
I've already drunk it. Amazing, kind of rich, kind of sweet.
I'm going
quite
to say,
sweet.
I'm going to say something, and everyone's going to say, "Oh yeah, red apples."
No.
I get it's more spicy, kind of a mustardy.
Yeah, it's very rich and strong, and it is a bit, as the guys were saying, kind of like fresh farmyards.
The smell of whiskey.
It's nice. It smells nice.
Cilantro. In one is it?
Nice.
Lovely.
And as you said, it's quite peppery.
Yeah, it has that white peppery tingle.
Can really get the tingle now.
The spiciness.
Yeah, and even some little bit at the start is kind of, it reminds me a little bit of pop candy even. It has that kind of a tingly.
I was thinking popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you bring me round to the apples. No, for me it's the most interesting thing is the mouthfeel and the oiliness, but then also that kind of peppery finish. But then I'm getting vanilla and butter and the kind of popcorn kind of coming through.
Yeah.
And a bit light and fruity too.
We didn't. We drank ours too quick. We're not getting the whole follow-up. Where's that bottle going?
Cheers.
Cheers. It's clearly bounding with flavour.
Yeah.
And that's come from the field.
Yeah. And these lads as well.
I wondered what you were doing there.
some funky dance.
There is a lot of work and preparation go into growing a barley crop. It's not just put it in the field and shut the gate, which a lot of people think we do.
Yeah.
But there's an awful lot of planning, a lot of rotations, a lot of decisions on what crops we're going to grow when. And then the nutrition of the crop as well, taking soil samples, seeing exactly what it does need. Does it need any P's and K's? If it does, how are we going to add them? But it is a plan there to make the best of the soil and make the best crops of barley and oats we can.
To make sure we've enough of a batch for Waterford Distillery.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice sound of it, isn't it?
That's the first time I've heard Waterford Distillery in etiquette in the one sentence.
Well, it's early days yet.